So it's been a year since my first ever video on YouTube. Like my actual channel's older, but I kind of consider this to be the 1 year anniversary of Feral Cabbage. And I never had anything planned for it, I'm gonna be honest. I was just like I didn't know if I was like too, I guess, in the big leagues enough to even bother celebrating the 1 year anniversary, but I was I never had much planned because my content has kind of just changed so much throughout this year. So I kind of just wanted to take this time to reflect. This video is unscripted. I don't even have like usually when I do these kind of videos, I have like spark notes on my screen. I'm just raw dogging this video here. So yeah, I kind of just want to go down, I guess, my eras, for lack of a better word, like the eras of my channel and like how I've evolved as a creator. And I'm honestly really proud of that. I'm really proud of how much I've grown, we've grown, and I mean, I started this channel with 0 subscribers, and I got to 250, if I remember correctly. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, 200, over 250. That's incredible. That's awesome, and I cannot thank all of you enough. Even the people who know me in real life and just subscribe because they know me, complete strangers on the internet or somewhere in between. I thank you. And yeah, I really just wanted to go down and just reflect on kind of how much I've grown over this year because my first video, I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's a horrible video. Would I watch it myself? No. But I think it's a good starter video. And that kind of marks the first era, which I would say is the charming new YouTuber era, where it's like, oh yeah, well my videos aren't edited, but I'm growing, And well, obviously unedited videos aren't immediately bad, but it's like low effort, lots of love, like low effort but high love content is what I said back then. And that was a charming thing for a bit. But as videos became with like the Christmas video I made, that was an hour and 30 minutes, and then the lengths just kept getting longer, especially with Your Turn to Die. In some of the early Skyrim videos too, I'm looking at the numbers now. 56 minutes is crazy. Um, so it slowly evolved from it being like, oh yeah, she's learning, to it evolving into like okay, this isn't good content. And maybe that's just me being a cynical, wow, like a sinister, cynical is the word I'm looking for. Oh my god, cynical, like a cynical perspective because it's my own content and I wouldn't say this kind of stuff about anybody else's. But there comes a point where like, yeah, my most popular video, 18K views, which is still crazy, is just an unedited video of me playing some random FNAF fan game. And while again I don't like hate the video, if I hated it I would have deleted it. It moving from phase one, which was like the charming YouTuber, charming not charming, but like, oh look at him go, he's starting his channel. Moving into, okay, where are we going from here? And that honestly my mental state at the time really reflects in my content because it wasn't, I wouldn't say dull, but it wasn't there wasn't as much life to it. And it was just like I was pumping out videos to pump out videos, not because I was really proud of them necessarily. And that really began to show until Goodbye Snail Chronology episode 4. That was when I started editing, which is interesting. And Chronology as a series was weird because it was just I didn't know what games I wanted to play, if I was going to be purely Skyrim. I don't even know what games I'm going to play now. I'm still very lost in the direction of my channel now with in regards to games. I just upload what I want to upload at any given moment and we'll see where it goes. Um so then after that I did begin editing videos, and this kind of started a streak of honestly pretty fun. I remember this era being very fun because I would sit down, record, chop the ends off, and then maybe throw in a little speed up clip here and there. But I remember this era very vividly. And I remember just in real life, I got grounded a ton. There was a lot of breaks, especially with Coffee Talk, which I wish that series was done at a better time because it was very story based and I uploaded it months in between. I think I started it in March or something like that and ended it in maybe June, if I remember correctly. And that's very bad. That's not good for a story game. And this is also marking the period where I kind of got tired of games like Your Turn to Die or GTA 4 when I used to play those. Your Turn to Die especially because that's like the second series I've ever done in this channel, but it grew to such a point where it was like I felt like I was being forced to play it because I've uploaded too much Skyrim. Let's throw in a Your Turn to Die video to balance it out. And it never became a point where I was sitting. I never felt like I was sitting down to play Your Turn to Die because I wanted to play Your Turn to Die. It felt like I was sitting down to play Your Turn to Die because to balance out the equilibrium of my channel or whatever. And I honestly, while I would love to go back and revisit it, I would definitely think that'd be better for a streaming kind of thing. So after that, I started dropping. I dropped Sears from the Die and GTA 4, and I kind of started moving into basically just Skyrim. This is like early summer, and so it was basically just Skyrim. I did some also one-off stuff. I remember the tier lists. That was fun. The Minions video did well. I'm still mad about the copyright claim because it is under fair use. YouTube. It like there was the trailer clips. Come on, sorry, it's dumb, but it's I just remember that and seeing how that did well. I do want to do more review content in the future, but I was doing all this stuff, and then when I released No Strings Attached, I'll get to No Strings Attached in a second. Boom. I'm not gonna say how, but I got grounded for like a month, like a fat grounding. It's gonna be a story time for later. I didn't mention it on the channel, but it's going to be a story time for later. So stay tuned for that. If I ever do it, it's a very shameful memory with lots of lore. And so that kind of right there marks the end of that era right there. The like sprint of editing where it was just kind of like I learned how to edit, and while small improvements here and there, like I learned how to speed up clips, occasionally I did some zooms and with music and sound effects. It was never anything to the extent that I do now. That grounding, I really reflected during that ground, like during that like month period. I wasn't able to upload YouTube. During that month period, I really reflected on like my content, and I just kind of realized that even though I was like, even like I just wasn't as me in them, you know? Like I like looking back at this is something I failed to mention even now is that the me in let's say I think the me in let's say modded Skyrim episode 1, the old series before Spade Ace when I played as Ace, I'd say that version of me is very different than say Coffee Talk me. You know what I mean? I kind of after a point, I think around the time for me, I stopped recording Skyrim in January. But I recorded so many episodes, it was backed up all the way to April. So, but it came to a point where I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't, like my personality was too. I think at the time the word I would have used was vulgar. I was too like just too like I cussed a lot. I cuss a lot less now, but I still cuss now. But it was like I think at the time I just didn't like how I spoke. I thought I probably spoke too fast. I still do. But I was just very insecure about who I was around that time, given everything that was going on, which I won't get into. Yes, I can see why. But that really reflected because I kind of felt like I was putting on too much of like a positive front, like, "Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Feral Cabbage here." It wasn't me playing the game; it was Feral Cabbage playing the game, and it wasn't even Feral Cabbage. It was some bootleg version, and it was just me trying to like put the like most best foot forward, and I lost all the personality along the way, and that grounding really kicked in, like kind of kicked that in for me. Alongside criticism from some friends too, but that grounding really kind of kicked me into gear and I was like, yeah, I need to put more of me into this because it's just a game for the most part. Like Coffee Talk was me just reading the game. I mean, while the voices were fun to do, it was still that was all that I was putting into it. But with now moving into what we're doing now, with The Sims 4, which is doing great. I mean, that is just I'm putting myself and I've been getting my friends in on videos too. Esper, I've been planning on trying to make a video with Austin and some new friends too. And it's like just getting my friends in and getting putting me in a more creative environment. Like the past Skyrim videos and ones I have making now. I was about to say in the background footage of this video, that sword that Spade is using, I have that video still being edited right now, so ignore that, not canon yet. But I mean, I feel like now I've just been putting more effort towards it, and I've just been more happy now. I've just been way more happy with what I'm producing. And honestly, I think we're like honestly a feral cabbage renaissance. I'm gonna be honest. I think that throughout this year as a whole, oh excuse me, if you guys just heard that burp, I just tried to hide in my mouth. I am so sorry. Um, but throughout this year, I feel like I've definitely just grown because now, I mean, even in the beginning, there came a point where I was still like the shy first video YouTuber, and then as I progressed, instead of growing out of that, I grew worse and I tried covering up my personality. Instead of having none of which to speak just because I was nervous enough to express myself, I decided to double down and try and cover it up, and that just led to me just being unhappy. But now I'm in a much better space. I'm so happy with how the videos have been turning out recently. And it's just, I think overall, things are just getting better. And I'm happy. And I'm thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. If you're checking in as a longtime fan, if you've been here since Skyrim, if you popped in somehow during the weird GTA Coffee Talk era, if you popped in after my grounding with The Sims 4 or even the Doors video on Roblox, if you're popping in from there, thank you. This is genuinely what I want to do. YouTube and writing, those are the two main goals. And every like, every second you watch the video, every comment, every subscriber, every step, everything that you guys do and put towards my channel via likes, comments, views, whatever it might be, that just brings me, no matter how minuscule of a step, but still one step closer to what I want to be when I'm older. And that, I genuinely, I know YouTubers and all this stuff say this all the time, but I genuinely cannot thank you enough. And that sounds corny. And I don't know how many of you guys watching are just going to be like friends who, probably already heard this before, or how many of you guys are just brand spanking new, or just popped in from this video somehow. But thank you. This is genuinely the goal. And now to segue into, I was just talking about YouTube now, let's segue into my writing, which is the other half of my goal with no strings attached. What's up with that? So, yeah, the grounding really hammered that down, didn't it? So looking back on No Strings Attached, I was planning on doing a retrospective video, but I'm just going to kind of attach this onto here because I think No Strings Attached kind of plays a big factor again into how I was, because I was trying to pump it out on a deadline, which if anybody has talked to me about chapter 1 of No Strings Attached, I've said, yo, I really wish I kept that in the oven longer. I even delayed it. I took down the delayed video because I didn't really want that just to be there, but it was just like, even looking back on it now, I didn't give it enough time in the oven because I was just so excited to rush that out. And then also, not only was I so excited to rush it out, I gave myself a deadline too. So it wasn't like I announced it and then went forward and like announced it and then slowly built it up. No, I announced it, gave myself that 2 week deadline to write a whole chapter. A premiere chapter of a very long story that I wanted it to be, and it just didn't work. And while a lot of people, maybe people who aren't like, not like people who aren't critics, like people who read books for the story and don't really know the nitty gritty, they're just there to read a good story. And I appreciate that. But for me as the writer, I wasn't really happy with chapter 1. Chapter 2 rectified a lot of what chapter 1 did, but when it came down to writing chapter 3, I just couldn't. I just wasn't happy with what I was doing. So I took what I have for No Strings Attached right now. I'm putting that on pause because I'm planning on rebooting that shit. Rebooting that like no one has ever heard. Not rebooting in like the corny sense. I'm just going to take what I have already planned, change it up a bit. Well, not change it up a bit, change it up a lot. There's a lot of new changes. And I'm going to turn it into something I can really say I'm proud to be my first full story told. That isn't some fan fiction. So that'll take some time, but I just want to announce that too. So I guess that's everything. Really, good stuff coming in the future. I have some good ideas for stuff. I have a bigger drive now to create content, and honestly, my unscriptedness has improved a lot. because you can go back to some of my other unscripted announcements, and I'm just like rambling. But while I rambled a bit here, I definitely think I've learned to talk more. I can talk a lot better now. Sorry, I thought I saw something. I can talk a lot better now, and that I don't know. There's only so many times I could say I definitely feel improvement. Like if you were to sit down, I wouldn't recommend this. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. But if you're to do a feral cabbage binge, keeping in mind that the Skyrim videos were always delayed by like a month or so because I just sat down, played a crap ton of it, and then just uploaded them whenever I was ready because that's like up until like I think 34 or 32 of Skyrim, I didn't edit those. So it was just kind of me talking for 30 minutes every day. And I definitely think I've improved as just unscripted. And then there are also stuff like the no strings attached. Those were very scripted too. And that came off fake as well because, again, I was trying to put off a personality there as well. And just, I definitely think now I'm just a better content creator. Not only do the numbers prove it, like looking at it purely like that, we've been popping off. Like the channel has been doing really well. I mean, I would have never expected that my stupid Lance the Alien and Chelsea Power would end up being things that I hear like semi regularly. But also, I felt a lot better with my content. I don't upload a video and be like, that's good, I guess. I upload a video being like, that's a banger. And people tell me now that I haven't received this much, like, there's not been this many people just, I guess, having my back on this since now. I think everything is just to a much better quality. And as a result, I'm just happier and I'm just ready to make the best shit possible, to put it shortly. Maybe not the best shit possible. Emphasis on the shit. I have some god tier shit posts in the making right now, just in my brain. But yeah. And I'm also thinking of making more channels in the future. I don't know when, but I'm thinking of making a shorts channel to re-upload all my TikToks and actually make shorts of my videos, and also a live streaming channel so I can start streaming because I just filmed these background videos just on my own. But if I could stream them or even just stream actual games and just edit them down for the channel, I feel like that could be really good to try and bring back the random games and the not just Skyrim and not just Sims 4 style of content. Bring that back into the fold. But if you want to see the full series, check out the live stream channel where it's archived. But if you want to see the chopped down version because you only have 20 minutes of time to spare, check the main channel. Basically how every other channel operates. I don't know why I just try to explain that, but yeah, I guess that's it. I think I've rambled on long enough about my plans and just about genuinely how happy and grateful I am that this has been going so well, because at the end of the day, this and writing, I don't care what it takes. They're gonna be my job. I'm not giving up. You know what I mean? Like, and they're gonna be my full-time job one day, and it's gonna be great. That's like obviously I'm not. Obviously, it's always gonna. I always tell myself, say if instead of when. But right now, it's not a when. It's gotta be. Does that make sense? It's like, oh, when I become a YouTuber as my job, I gotta be a YouTuber as my job because I don't know what, you know? That's just kind of how I'm feeling. Anyway, I gotta edit this ramble behemoth of a video, so I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Stay awesome. Love y'all.